Hi, I'm Sylvie from High Level Bandanas, and if you're here, it's probably because you watched part 1 and it ended very abruptly. But welcome to part 2. Just get right into it. Part 2 is going to teach you how to do the sleeve portion and the skirt portion. If you want to see what this new version of the dress looks like on, then stay tuned and have fun watching. Part 1 ended pretty abruptly, and that is because when I say chaos unfolded, chaos unfolded. I started accidentally recording in slow motion, so this whole part just... And then, let me just show you.
Oh no, did I make this too big?
I think I made it too big. No! It's not a big deal though, because I can fix it. I think I can fix it. I did frog this side, and for the other side, okay, for the other side, I don't know if you guys have ever heard about cutting your crochet. I think I'm gonna go ahead and try it. Okay, so that did not go as planned. Okay, I cut it. I almost want to just leave it like this, but I do have to take away all the little bits, so I'm gonna, it worked, it worked. This will be exactly what I needed. So anyway, without further ado, let's get back into it. Like I said, for the skirt, I am switching to the Pound of Love in the shade Olive and a 5mm hook. This one is from Holly Pocket Shop. It's my favorite hook that I have. Okay, so the first thing to do for your skirt is to lay down your front panel with the right side facing you and the top part facing downwards. So you should have it like this. You're looking at your front panel like this, and then you're going to be attaching your yarn in this top right corner. Attach with a slip stitch in the corner. Next, you're going to place a single crochet in the exact same stitch that you just attached into. So as you can see right now, there's where I attached, and then there's a single crochet. And then we'll just be doing single crochet across the entire bottom of the piece. Try and place your single crochets in every row. I might be doing every second row just because I went up a hook size and up a yarn size. But as you can see for me, there's quite a big difference in the size of this yarn versus this yarn. And I'm all the way to the end. And the part that I did record in slow motion for the next step of attaching the skirt. So after you single crocheted all the way across, you'll chain 1, turn, and then you'll be putting 3 half double crochets followed by a half double crochet increase all the way across your row. Then you'll repeat again. So you'll do a chain 1, turn, 3 half double crochets, 1 half double crochet increase, all the way across. It doesn't matter if it ends evenly. So for example, on this row, you can see that it ended on a half double crochet and my increase was here. So it doesn't have to be even. That's how we're gonna start creating the ruffles of the skirt. So I did 3 rows of the 3 half double crochets, half double crochet increase across. With that, they connect in the back. And it's very important that before you move on, you try this on over your hips. So maybe pin it together and make sure that your dress is able to fit over your hips, because in the next step, we are going to be joining both ends together so that we'll be crocheting in the round. So even though I did the 3 rows and it now touches in the back, before I attach together, I'm gonna wanna do 1 more row across, and I'll still do the increases because I want it to be super ruffly. And that is because we want to end on a row that is right side facing you. So I wanted to just show you from this angle. So you can already see the ruffles are really starting to form. And again, once that is stretched out though, it meets on both ends of my body, which is good. So I ended on an even row that has the right side of the piece facing me while I crocheted this way. And this is super important because let's move on to the next step. My dog is really just stretching her legs out in the background here. With the right side facing you, grab the other end of your piece. And now what we are going to be doing is crocheting in the round. So since the right sides are facing me, I have not chained 1. I'm just continuing. I'm going to place a half double crochet in the first stitch of the other side. So right in here, place my half double crochet. There you go. And what I'm gonna do now too is place a stitch marker in this stitch. This stitch is now the first stitch of the next row because we will now be crocheting in the round. This counts as stitch number 1. So we'll crochet 9 more. Including this, we've got 10 half double crochets, and then I'm going to half double crochet increase in the next one. So I'm gonna keep doing that all the way around. Just like the rows we did here, it does not matter if it ends evenly on this pattern, just because we're gonna be creating even more increases. From this point onwards, guys, it is going to be very simple for this skirt. You are going to just keep repeating this. Let's say you think this is roughly enough. You do not need to keep going with the increases. For me, I'm probably going to be doing another 2 rows of the 10 half double crochet with the half double crochet increase. Okay, so I'm finally done my first row. You are looking at the back side right now, which looks a little janky, but it looks good from the first side. And I just wanted to share this moment because I personally find it very satisfying. Crochet into that first half double crochet stitch. This like loose one that we used to attach the last row, but bam, there you go. It is crocheted into. The stitch marker is back in. Oh, it's back in. I can just start my next row. So at this point, mine looks like this. Like I said, I'm planning on maybe doing another 2 more rows of this 10 half double crochet with the increases, but it's already getting pretty ruffly and it looks super cute. I just finished the second row of the 10 half double crochet and then half double crochet increase, and it is so ruffly, so I'm not gonna make a third one. I'm just gonna start doing my half double crochet all the way around for what is going to feel like forever. So I crocheted and crocheted and crocheted some more. I don't know what day it is of working on this anymore. There's a couple hundred stitches in every single round. So this is kind of where I'm at right now. It would definitely not cover anything, so I'm not nearly close to done. So with that said, I don't know if you guys are anything like me, but sometimes I need to kind of like separate my work. And I think that we are just going to take a little bit of a break from doing rounds and rounds and rounds of the skirt. And we are going to hop into just doing the lace up back. That way we'll have a little bit of a change of pace here, and you don't need to tie off the yarn that you're working with right now. I'm actually just going to be placing a stitch marker in the loop instead of my hook, so that way I don't lose my stitches or it doesn't come unraveled. For the back, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be taking my green yarn, so the yarn I used for the body, and I'm gonna grab my 4mm hook again because I am working with this yarn. You'll be attaching with a slip stitch in the top corner of the right side back panel. So I'm looking at it like this, so the right side of the piece is facing me, and by right side I mean the correct side, not literally right. And so I'm going to be attaching in the right back panel. So I think we can all agree this is the right back panel, because if I were to wear this, this would be on my right side. I'm going to attach it in the top corner, which will be right here. There's my slip stitch, and then we're going to be placing a single crochet in the same stitch that we just attached into. So I will do that. Next up, we're going to be single crocheting all the way down to the bottom of the slit. There it is all the way down. You can see it really squared off my edge, and here it is all the way down to the bottom. Now, once you do get to here, you'll be placing a single crochet in the half double crochet you used to attach your row to the other side when we started crocheting in the round. So I'm going to be placing a single crochet in there, and then I'm going to be single crocheting all the way back up the side here, and I'm going to count just to make sure that I have the same amount of single crochets that I placed on this side. Can we please just take a moment to look at how it looks like I never cut into it? Woo! I took a risk. It paid off. Okay, next step, what I had originally written in the pattern is chain 2, skip 2, and then slip stitch into the following stitch all the way down. Because I'm using way lighter weight, I think what I'm gonna do is chain 3. Otherwise I would have so many ties all the way down. That's kind of up to you. I wouldn't go and chain a huge amount because then your ties are going to be very big loops, but a small amount you're going to have a lot of really tiny loops. So for this weight of yarn and the amount of single crochets I have all the way down, I'm going to go ahead and chain 3, skip 3. And as you can kind of see here, it gives me this size of a loop. It's a little small, so I'm going to go ahead, actually chain 4 and skip 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and slip stitch into the 4th one. Do that all the way down until I reach the middle. You can see that I did it all of the way down until I reached the middle here. So this last one I only was able to skip 3 stitches, not 4. That's okay. I'm just going to make sure that when I go on the way back up, I'm also going to skip 3. So whatever number you ended up skipping to reach the bottom single crochet, just make sure you do the same thing on the other side, and then that way it'll give you the same amount of loops on the other side. Do the same thing you did down here, back up this way. So I'll chain my 1, 2, 3, 4. Like I said, from the bottom here, I only skipped 3, so I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, and into this one, slip stitch, and then I can carry on the way I've been doing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then skip 1, 2, 3, 4. So I will slip stitch into the next one. Oop, why are you out of focus? There you go. Like that. And finally slip stitching into my very last right here, and I'm right back at the top. Tie it off. Then I'm gonna weave in my ends. Luckily, because we started here and also ended here, I like to tie these into a knot because it really just secures it a little bit extra. And now I'm gonna be weaving these ends in off camera. As you saw in part 1, I'm using this Gucci ribbon that I saved from packaging. If you are using yarn, you can just make a very long chain. So I'm gonna be putting one end through the top left and the other end through the top right. I'm gonna flip it so that the Gucci is showing. And then I'm gonna keep weaving it through all the way down. So right now you can't really see, but I'm just making sure that both ends are even on either side. And this is my personal preference, to weave it from the top down so that the bow will be at the bottom here. You can do the opposite. You can start it at the bottom so that your bow will be all the way at the top, but I'm gonna go ahead and weave this through. So I'm just crossing it to the other side. This guy will come to this side. So here you go. Here's my super cute Gucci lace back. I probably need to flip a couple of them over. Disappointed that Gucci couldn't print it out on both sides, but whatever. I'm obsessed with this. This is exactly the vision that I wanted. Hopefully this will hold you off a little bit longer to start doing some more rows of the skirt. A few days later, I just made it to Vancouver for work. Not a bad view. This is a bad view, but the rest is fine. So just wanted to show you guys where I'm at. I've done this much right now, so it's getting there for sure. There is another part after that, so this is your reminder. If you're watching this as you're making it, go until you have about an inch left that you want to add to your length. We are getting somewhere. It's not bad. Kind of like this length. I'm just gonna go ahead and start the next step, which will be to add another inch to it with a little poof. Because I made the back so low, that's the reason ultimately why I had to cut both sides. Follow my actual measuring instructions, then you won't have to increase so much. Like, as you can see on the side, there's a lot of increases. If you actually do what I said, you shouldn't have to do that. So we're now going to be making the little ruffly part at the bottom of the skirt. Now, I will say, and I do regret, I think it would be very, very cute if you did this with a different color. You are going to do 10 half double crochet increase, but in back loop only all the way around. So I finished that row, and as you can see with the back loop only, it makes this little line all the way across. And then the next thing you're gonna do, which I've already started here, and you can see because this is the back. If you wanna avoid this, you can always just slip stitch into this one, but whatever. Go in with 10 half double crochet, and then a half double crochet increase all the way around, but this time not in back loop only. 10 half double crochet, half double crochet increase all the way around, and you are going to do that for 4 more rows. I lied to you when I said an inch. It adds on about 3 inches. And then in the original pattern, I also added that you can keep doing half double crochet rows after that, which obviously you can if you want more length of those ripples. Good morning. I missed you. We're back with the poor quality filming on the iPhone this morning. I am finally back home after working. I did put a poll up on my Instagram asking if you guys thought that I could possibly finish this all today and post the video the same day. So if you're watching this on the 13th of February, then I accomplished that. We're at the next part, so I wanted to show you guys how to finish off the skirt. I decided to go with 4 rows of the 10 half double crochet, then half double crochet increase, and then I added 1 row of just half double crochet across. And as you kind of saw when I lifted it, it added that little ruffly edge, which is really hard to show when it's flat like this, and it just gave me this much extra. So you guys can just add as many rows of half double crochet or as many rows of increases as you'd like. When you're ready to tie off, all you're gonna do is, well, remove the stitch marker, and you're going to place a slip stitch into the first stitch of the previous row. And once you've done that, you can just tie it off, pull through, grab your needle, and weave this end in. And hopefully you guys have either crocheted over or already weaved in all the other ends. Better have, and if you didn't, then just do it now. But here's the bottom of the skirt. As you can see, like I said, you can see the ruffles a little bit more when I do hold it up, but it's super cute. I'm gonna weave that end in, and we'll be moving on to the sleeves, where I have a little treat for you. We're gonna do way better camera quality, I promise. Excuse the literal compost bag that I have on top of my head. That's because I don't want to pay $300 to go get my hair toned, and so I'm just using a combination of a Wellaplex mask and Olaplex purple shampoo, and I'm gonna leave it in there for a couple of hours. Bear with me, because right now I'm using my DSLR camera, so the quality hopefully should be a lot better for you guys. This one is kind of old and it does not have autofocus on it. Some of this footage isn't totally in focus or anything. I'm also wearing the bobble sleeve sweater, which is the first pattern that I ever put out. For this, you're either gonna need some pins or some stitch markers. Try on your dress, and you're going to place stitch markers wherever you want your sleeves to be. I've got my dress on, so I know that I want my sleeves to be here. So I'm going to place a stitch marker here and here. And then on the back, probably a lot easier if you do this with someone helping you, because then it's a little bit more accurate. And my tip to you when you do this is take it off after and make sure that your pins in the front and in the back are in an even spot. The next step that you'll do afterwards is you're gonna grab your tape measure, and I'm gonna go do that off camera because it'll be so hard to show you, but you're gonna place your tape measure essentially here and around to your back as though your tape measure was a strap to measure the length that you're gonna need to make your strap. Again, this is gonna be a lot easier if you have somebody helping you. It's a little bit hard to get that all the way around this way. The other thing you can do if you are alone and you wanna make it more accurate is just grab a piece of string. You can pin it on, tie it on, whatever you'd like. Toss it over your shoulder to where you want your strap to be, and then you can just cut it where that was so that when it's time to make your strap, you have it the exact same length. So let it be known that I had originally gotten 14 inches for my first dress. This one measures 16 inches, which makes sense that I needed the 2 extra because, as you saw, I made the back much lower for this dress than I did the first one, so the math checks. We're gonna be starting with the left sleeve. So when I say the left sleeve, I mean the sleeve that will be on the left side of your body. You're gonna attach with a slip stitch into the back left stitch marker. So when I say back left, I mean this one here on the back side of the left side of your dress. So I'm going to be attaching it with a slip stitch just right here. Then you're going to be doing a single crochet in the exact same stitch. And then we're going to be single crocheting all the way from this around, so under where the armpit is, up to the front left stitch marker. This is going to be the same thing as when you guys placed your single crochets when attaching the skirt. Try to make it pretty even all the way around to keep this length, but with that said, this yarn weight is a lot thicker than what I used for this, so I'm probably going to be skipping a row instead of putting it in every single row that I made on the body of the dress. Gone from where I had my back marker all the way up to the top here. You're going to want to count the amount of stitches that you placed and keep track of that. So I have 25, and this is important because when we eventually do the other sleeve, you're going to want to be able to place the exact same amount of number so that your sleeves look the exact same. And I'm going to be just placing my stitch marker in the first stitch that I made here because this will be the start eventually once we connect everything around. Next step, now we are going to be chaining all the way to the length that we measured for the strap. So I measured 16 inches. I'm going to be doing that. But one thing that's extremely important here is when you chain, you can measure it flat like this, and let's say I bring a ruler to it because that's what I have. This is 4 inches, right? No, wrong, it's not 4 inches because when you stretch your chain, suddenly this is 5 inches. Make sure that you measure it with the stretch, and that's going to be really important because this chain is what's going to be supporting the entire weight of the dress. So it will be stretched out, and you don't want to accidentally make this so much longer. For my 16 inches, I chained 42. We're going to go and connect this strap into the back left stitch that we started in. I'm going to make sure that these are not twisted. I'm going to be placing a slip stitch into the first stitch that I had crocheted into, so that first single crochet. And now that we have this, we'll be crocheting in the round for the next rows. And just before we do that, I'm going to be placing my stitch marker in the slip stitch here that we used to attach the chains onto this. Another very important thing before we continue on, I highly recommend that once you've attached your strap and lock it into place, you try it on. As you can see, this is a good length of strap for me, so I'm going to keep it like that. And the other thing that I forgot to mention is that when you are crocheting around and then we started doing the strap at the front here, keep this front stitch marker in place. You should still have this front one and the back one in place. So just make sure that you do that. Don't take it out like I did. Luckily, I'm still in the first row, so it was really easy to find where I started my chains, but you're still gonna keep these 2 stitch markers in place all the time. So once you have slip stitched into that back left stitch marker, you're gonna single crochet from the back left stitch marker all the way to the top left stitch marker. Like I just said, we're always going to be keeping these 2 stitch markers in place. So once you do reach the front stitch marker, put your single crochet in and then put it back in that same exact stitch. Keep doing single crochet all the way around until you reach the back stitch marker, which is your starting position. We are going to now go all the way around with half double crochet in back loop only. And make sure to put my stitch marker back in. Okay, so now that I'm back at my back stitch marker, which is the start of my row, we're gonna start making the sleeves all nice and puffy. We're gonna be repeating this step a total of 3 times. You're gonna be placing half double crochet in each stitch from your stitch marker to your stitch marker. Once you get to the front stitch marker, you're gonna be placing 2 half double crochets, half double crochet increase, all the way up to the start of your row, which is your back stitch marker. To kind of reiterate, but up close, I'm just placing regular half double crochets from my back stitch marker to the front stitch marker. And the reason why we're doing this is because if we added increases in this armpit area, it just really wouldn't be comfortable. Once you reach the front stitch marker, so the stitch marker before the strap, take it out, 2 half double crochet. Make sure you place that stitch marker back in that same stitch like always. 1, 2, and then half double crochet, increase. And we're gonna be repeating that all the way across the strap, all the way to the back stitch marker. And like I said, 3 times. So from here to here, half double crochets, from here to here, 2 half double crochet, half double crochet, increase. So do that 3 times. I rinsed my hair out and I finished these rows. Did the mask work? Did it tone? No, not really. So as you can see, it gives me this really ruffly top like this, and then the armpit area is just straight. So ruffly on top, straight on the armpit. So once you're done that, you're gonna do 10 rows or more or less, it depends on what you want it to look like, of just half double crochet across. So 10 for me with this medium yarn weight works well. That's what I did with the other dress. If you want your sleeves to be a little bit longer, then you can do more rows. If you want them a little shorter, then you can do less. I would suggest doing a lot more rows if you're using a smaller yarn weight, or less rows if you're using a thicker yarn weight. Just keep in mind that we are going to eventually be decreasing again so that it gets tight around the arm. So this won't be the full length of your sleeve, but you want it long enough to at least be past your shoulder. Make sure that when you're doing that, you're still keeping the 2 stitch markers in every single row. Here I am, I have done 10 rows. It covers my shoulder, which is good. I'm gonna start decreasing. So we're gonna be decreasing the same amount that we increased, and it's gonna be in the same style. So from your back stitch marker to your front stitch marker. Then for the rest of it, you're gonna be doing 2 half double crochet, 2 together. And like I said, you're gonna do that the same amount that we did for increases. I told you to do 3 rows of the increases, so you should be doing 3 rows of the decreases. If you did more, do more. If you did less, do less. Once you have done the decreasing, you'll notice it's still huge. So now at this point, you can remove that front stitch marker that you've been using, and we just need the one that marks the start of your round. 2 half double crochet, 2 together all the way around for 2 more rounds. If you notice that this is gonna make the stitches too tight around your arm, you can stop. If you want it to go a little bit tighter, then I do suggest that you add a round. Just make sure that it's still nice and comfortable, but I'm gonna go ahead and do my 2 rows of 2 half double crochet, 2 together all the way around. No more stopping at the stitch markers. And then once you've completed those 2 rounds, then you'll notice you're getting a really nice puffy sleeve. Slip stitch to the first stitch, chain 4, skip 1, and then place a double crochet in the following stitch. And then all the way around, we're just going to be doing a chain 1, skip 1, double crochet. It's going to create this all the way around, and that's where we're going to be weaving the little tie through. Slip stitch to the top of the 3rd chain from your chain 4, because that is what counts as a double crochet. I'm right back at the start, so like I said, I'm just going to be placing a slip stitch 1, 2, 3 chains from what I had originally done, and that's the end of this row. Chain 1, you're going to place 2 half double crochets in every chain 1 space that you made from before, and then a half double crochet at the top of the double crochet from the previous row, and do that all the way around. Slip stitch to the first half double crochet that you place. The last row, unless you want more length, but this will be my last row, you're going to do 2 half double crochet, increase all the way around, and then you're going to tie off and weave in your ends, and that is it for the sleeve. For the ties, it's just going to be chain 100 or longer or shorter depending on how wide your arm is or how long you want your ties to be, and you'll just be weaving it through. For the right sleeve, so you're going to be attaching in the front stitch marker of the right side, and this is just so that we can keep the right side facing us. Single crochet in that same stitch, and you're going to single crochet all the way down the armpit to the back right stitch marker, making sure that you are placing the exact same amount of single crochets that you did on the opposite side. Now that I've had that, I'm going to chain the same amount that I chained on the opposite shoulder, and I'm going to be attaching it to the front. The only difference from the right sleeve as opposed to the left sleeve, instead of having started at the back of the armpit and going up around to the front, we started at the front and we're going down around the armpit and back up. So that's the only thing that changes. Otherwise, you are doing the exact same thing. So armpit region is not going to have the increases. The shoulder will have the increases. Just repeat exactly everything that you did and make your tie for the other side and you are done. I just went ahead and added my embellishments, which was these little pearls. I put the bigger ones on top and then made my way to these teeny tiny ones on the bottom. In the original dress, I had embroidered little flowers, which were sweet peas, which is why it's called the sweet pea dress. But I just thought for this, it would be so cute to have the little pearls, and that matches my white sleeve ties. So there you go, there's the reveal. I hope you guys love it. I am obsessed with the little pearl details and the Gucci lace bag. I think it just gives it like that little extra touch. Thanks for bearing with me. Thanks for watching this very long video. And if you guys make this dress, please make sure to tag me. It's just at High Level Bandanas. I tend to repost everything. I love seeing what you guys make. And if you want to see more videos like this, or if you have any comments, questions, concerns, please leave them down below in the comment. On that note, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye!